Hello, welcome.
Hello.
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 Episode 2 of We Now Have a Name. We are, Matt, what are we?
We're Jam in the print room, so it was a bit of a combination of all the options, really, wasn't it? So
Yeah, we were
it
very
seemed to
near to
be.
be.
Sorry, go on.
I can say we were very close to being the Printstones, which would have been funny.
Yabba dabba do.
I've got a few people to vote for that on my behalf. Not enough,
Mum.
clearly.
Well,
No,
there we are. It's our second episode.
I'm quite happy with Jam in the print room. I think it's good. Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, good. So we've got our own YouTube channel now. We've got our own LinkedIn page. We're getting it out there. So, all good stuff. So, how's your month been, guys?
Chaos, actually, this month. August is normally quiet, but I think since COVID, that's all turned on its head. We've had periods of chaos and quiet. Had 4 people off who should have been in the print room, so we do disaster recovery, and through no fault of our own, really, just a few little accidents here and there. And yeah, I was in the print room for a couple of days, which I don't normally do. But actually, it's quite good to see where the guys are doing processes and procedures and where that falls down. And it's nice to get your hands dirty now and again and offer a better support for my customer, because I know how to use the printers and the rips.
Did
yeah,
you know
otherwise,
before, or did they teach you?
I did know before, but it's been a long time. But it's evolved a little bit since I last did it. But it's good. It was good to do. Very stressful, some long days. Didn't cause too much issue and costs with dodgy prints and all those kind of things. So yeah, we coped all right. But August has been pretty decent so far.
Was
How
it
about you
just your
guys?
typical like holiday juggling staffing issue? I know
Hopefully being a bit busier than expected, maybe, which is always good.
Yeah, nice problem to have, I guess.
Yeah. How
no,
about you, Matt?
absolutely. August is always a struggle because obviously I've got clients and I've got candidates. So to try and keep momentum going when one's on holiday, the other's on holiday. So recruitment processes take a hell of a lot longer. But you've just got to keep on going, building kind of pipeline and momentum for September. September's already good with pipeline starters and just getting ready for the last quarter of the year, which is pretty scary, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll be saying
Coming,
C
coming
word
in
soon, won't
October.
we?
Yeah, but then next year, I think what we'll end up doing, because the kids are still so young, we'll probably take, I don't know, get an Airbnb somewhere for maybe 4 weeks of August, and still work, obviously. But just yeah, just enjoy the summer as well. I think a little bit. It's just
Yeah.
tough to marry everything up.
No, I think that's right. That's kind of what I did in August. I was Airbnb around the country. I just had a wedding a couple of weeks ago, which was very lovely. But then I don't have 3 small children to entertain, and so I
No,
did manage to get a little bit of work done.
yeah, no, it's they're only young ones as well, aren't they? So I want to make sure that I'm around and we have good summers as much as possible whilst we can.
Good stuff. I think we should say while we're here
Yeah, of course.
that
Oh,
we're all enjoying a lovely lager. So this is we thought we'd have a glass of beer as it's the end of the day, and
spot the
Andy's
northerner straight from the can.
So
not
uncouth.
even,
It's
can't even go there.
it's
So
lovely.
mm,
This is from a brewery. It's about a 5-minute walk from me, which is called Leon Sea Brewery. It's in a very
oh,
weird setting. It's in a car park around the back of some industrial units. But yeah, really good. We go there quite a lot. It's nice and quiet. The beer's nice, and when the sun's shining, it's even better.
A 5 minute walk there and a 35-minute walk back.
Yeah, something like that. It's
it's very
uphill on the way
nice
back as
actually.
well.
It is. It's good.
Uh,
It's refreshing.
yeah, very
Good.
nice. Well, that'll get us going. So we were going to talk this month, about something that I think goes across our industry. It's about working with our family. And it's interesting, Andy, you talking there about being in the print room and knowing what you were doing. So I'm going to guess that's partly because, as a younger man, you were drafted in, or perhaps you could tell us about your experience.
Yeah, so my dad has always been involved in print. Used to work for Xerox and then some concessionaires that were selling copiers. I was a barrister's clerk for a couple of years. I then worked at Prudential for a couple of years, and then the guy that was working with my dad, who looked after the suppliers and the print side, called Tony, he retired. And it was just about the right time. I felt like I wanted to do something a little bit different to to working in an office, and joined my dad. So we were working together for about 7 or 8 years. He's been retired 6, 7. But yeah, it has its benefits, and it was good. Spending time with your dad is always a good thing. And I think we only ever had really two arguments during that time. But we did keep it nice and professional at work. It was Brian, Andy. At home, it was dad and son. We did manage it quite well. And then also my dad's sister, Denise, works for us as well. So she does HR and accounts and admin. So yeah, it's nice. It's nice to spend time with them, actually. But
That's good.
obviously I don't work with my wife like Matt does.
I love it. Just for the record, I love it. Just in case you listen.
She's behind the banner there.
You can come out now. No, I do, and Lindsay's, I guess, before she worked for M2, she was 18 years in freight and logistics for a freight forwarding company. She's as steady as they come, and I am pretty poor at dotting the I's and crossing the T's. I'm not really I'm an ideas man, an execution of a plan, and that detail side of things is where her strengths lie. So I quickly realised that I needed somebody in the business that would rein me in a little bit and do the housekeeping really, really well. So, and it just works for our young family as well, it really, really does. So, especially school holidays, if one of the kids is ever ill, then obviously she doesn't need any permission to have days off and time off and stuff like that. So, yeah. And you know what I've found really helpful is that they just get it as well. So if you have to stay late and you're up against it, or it's a little bit stressful, or things aren't going to plan, or things are going great, then they're in it every single day, and they have a much better appreciation for it, I think. So yeah, it works for us.
Do you talk about work at home as well? Or do you shut off and just leave that to the office?
I think we don't really talk about it unless there's something pressing, but I take work with me. I think recruitment, anybody listening to this will know that you can't just really switch off. So normally between 6 and maybe 8 o'clock is normally the busiest time, because people are finishing work and calling us after work and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it comes up in conversation, but we do try and keep it separate as well at the same time. So yeah, working with family is good. I like it.
Okay. I mean, I've now been working with Catherine for a couple of months, which since we moved up here, up in the north. We've always done it, actually. When we go for walks, we'll talk about ideas and business and so on. And that works quite well. Now, I'm quite interested in exploring, and because I think for you and I, Matt, with a relatively small company, it's great to work with your partner and you can kind of do this together and work to and from. But when you're working with a company with more employees and you've got several more, I mean, I've seen lots of particularly sign companies where it's gone through the family. What I've seen is if you employ your children, nephews straight from school or immediately, doesn't tend to work quite as well as if they go off, start a career in something else, have a bit of a life, and then come back. That extra maturity seems to help the process. I don't know what you think, Andy.
I suppose I come into it when it was only I come in as the second person, really, and then we've always added after that. So I don't think it's really been a problem. I think everyone's realised that, I was always going to end up taking over, and I like to think I'm not really a horrible boss, but they might say otherwise. But yeah, it's been fine. There's challenges, and it's kind of growing into the role that I was always kind of destined to do, I guess. Bit of nepotism, arguably. But yeah, it's been okay. We've had our differences and things, but we've always gone the right path. Like I said, a couple of crosswords here and there, but nothing major, and it was always been about work and what we wanted to do.
I think it's good that you went away and had life experience though first. So you not just inherited it all straight away and self-entitled type of thing.
Yeah, my dad wanted me to do that. He wanted me to go and forge my own path first.
And I think that's important.
I always wanted to be a barrister's clerk, actually. That was what I really wanted to do, and did it. Just wasn't quite for me at that time, although I think I would be better at that now. with the sales experience that I've got and being on the phone quite a lot.
Better
And
than
then
running the business.
probably, yeah, yeah, probably. But that was great. It was great grounding and talking to very senior people. And same with Prudential, really. I had that kind of grounding of talking to very influential people in their field, high pressure and those kind of things. So it all helped and hopefully moulded me to the MD role here, really.
How old were you when you joined the family business?
23, 24.
Okay, so still really, really young and still on the upwards curve.
Yep.
Not
How
decent.
does it work with you working with your customers? Because I bet you come across a lot of people in a similar boat to yourself. Do you have some affinity with sort of other father-son, father-daughter relationships?
Yeah, that actually works quite well. So there are a few, customers where they have taken over from their parents, and so I've got some kind of synergies with them and can relate to what they've gone through as well. So it's sometimes customers when your dad retires or steps aside a little bit, they still want to talk to your dad. So it's hard to say no. You deal with me now, and eventually after a while, when you've proven yourself, I think that's when you get that breakthrough moment when they go, Andy, can you help me with this? And I see a lot of that with current customers as well.
Have you ever had an issue when it comes to kind of talent and staffing and recruitment? In terms of, I see it quite often where there's somebody as the kind of an owner managed business and then their son is heir to the throne type of thing, but other people are also in the business that are kind of know that they'll never get to MD level because that's going to be your trajectory. Have you ever had anybody? Because I see it quite often. Like one of the reasons why people leave is there's no progression plans. Have you ever had that?
No, we want people to step up really. Ideally, what I would like to do is take a higher level approach to the business and kind of orchestrate what the plan is and talk with suppliers and manufacturers a little bit more than what I probably do at the moment. And move myself away from selling. And then if we have a sales director, someone organising the engineering, that kind of side, I would absolutely love that. So we've always
Just let me make some notes. Can we go through the job brief now?
I thought you would. We would absolutely love that. I think Luke and I would like to take a step away from day to day. I still do that probably too much, but I do enjoy selling and do enjoy talking with customers. I think if I was a bit more removed from that, I'd probably step in with a few key customers is probably what I would do.
Yeah. No, okay, cool.
From your point of view, Matt, if you're working with a client that is looking for a placement and you know that a son or daughter or relative is also going for that same post, how does that affect your relationship with the clients and the candidates?
I think with everything, I just expect and I drive for honesty, really. I guess it's no different to an external candidate being up against somebody internally, and you can't really have favourites just because it's your son, your daughter, your nephew, your family member, or whatever. I think the best person for the job is the best person for the job. So it's just educating people on that as well. And you know what? Sometimes I have conversations with owners and managers, like managing directors of my son or daughter thinks that they're guaranteed this next spot in the business, and they're not of that caliber, or they're not at the point where they need to be. So we're going to go externally. So I've seen it on both sides, and again, I just think it's the qualification piece right early on in those conversations.
The survival of the business depends on the next hire, doesn't it? At that kind of level. So if they aren't the right person, then they're not the right person, unfortunately, and they need to earn that.
Absolutely. No,
so you do need to recruit externally.
I mean, in recruitment and I guess running a business, there's the bus, which is the carriage, and you can have the right people on the bus, but are they in the right seat? And it's just about managing that and play to people's strengths and weaknesses, really. So, yeah, just because it's your daughter or your son or a family member, then it doesn't necessarily mean that they're guaranteed.
So this is something obviously happens quite a bit, but it's not huge in relation to the whole industry, and I think. It's a good way for young people to get into the industry, but I think we've talked before, haven't we, about the difficulty that this industry has as an ageing group as we are. Now, Matt, you did a bit of research.
I
You
did.
want to comment on it?
Yeah, because I guess one of the biggest industry pressures that I see and conversations that I have on a daily basis is all about our next generation and where's the youth coming from. And I don't have the slide in front of me, but I put a LinkedIn poll.
Definitely a poll
Oh,
A
or
poll.
survey. It was a poll.
So I put something out on LinkedIn anyway where people could vote out of four options, and it was frightening. I think there was 470 people that did it, and I think the vast majority, I think there was 14% of those people that were under 30. Everybody else is, can you say over 30 is getting on a bit? I'm in that category, so I guess so. I don't know. But I just think it's vital that we have something to get that next generation in. It's a bit of a sleeping giant, isn't it? I don't think people realise how cool the industry is, and FESPA are doing great things, and Learn to Print are doing like MVQs and apprenticeships and stuff like that. But if I had the time, and I'm going to put this out there because I think it's a brilliant idea. I don't know how it would work. Like I said earlier, I'm an ideas man, not an execution type thing. But I think we should have like a print academy and almost have like a trade association in terms of like have a studio, have a print room, have a client services team, and have a sales function, and just sell to the trade. And then at the end of like a 3-year period, you've had a year in studio, you've had a year in client services and sales, you've had a year on production. And then at the end, what you should be able to do is sell or recruit, not sell, because that sounds like it's trafficking, but have a recruitment model where you can then offer these people that have gone through the print academy for 3 years. They pick which discipline they like the best, studio, sales, production, and at a discounted rate. But the issue with that is you just need to get the young people straight out college, school, university, and you need someone to be able to close that loop off.
yeah, it's that last connection bit to a school, a university, a college, isn't it? You just need to say why print is great, get you in,
Yeah.
and then start that kind of apprenticeship. I think one of the manufacturers had a good idea of liaising with a school and trying to get them in and training them up, and then saying, guys, we've got some people here, we think they're employable. They were looking for that for resellers actually, and say salespeople, because it is very difficult to find younger people. We all seem to be going after the same people, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think it's vital. But you look at kind of, I don't know, football scholarships. You look at dance scholarships. You look at, I don't know, just send the young people away to somewhere. Like the Brits do. They have like a music school, don't they? I think. I know it's not as glamorous as that, but like a print school, and then after that 3-year service, you have somebody as head of talent or head of recruitment for that organization that then sells them back into the industry at a discounted rate. So I don't know how we do that, but I think that's a good idea.
Well, there's a lot of companies and organisations out there doing their bit towards it. I have to say, I mean, the academy idea you've got there. I know YPS had something along a sort of sign makers, print makers university academy, and that's still running. The BSGA have they teamed up with Walsall College. They're doing NVQs and apprenticeships. Everyone's doing something, but it's interesting. I think for most of the industry, you need to kind of consider what appointing a younger person or an apprentice actually means and what you need to do for them. For example, if you're based out of town, how is a young person going to get to you? I mean, I was at Moss last week, and they're working with the local council to get a bus service that goes to their office, because otherwise you've got pretty much no way of getting there. And unfortunately for young people, they don't have a lot of money. Simple as that, really. They're not saying you don't pay them very much, but they've got to grow in that sense. They can't necessarily afford a car or any other kind of transport. And also, is it about attitude or is it about qualifications? A lot of young people aren't suited to school for whatever reason and don't come out with the type of qualifications that companies might be looking for. But sometimes you've got to look under the bonnet of that and look at the attitude and what you can get from them. So
I think attitude, behaviour, worldly experience is far outweighs qualifications and what you got in your A levels.
yeah, I mean, I think you do need a sort of basic level of education, particularly if you're working
Of
in
course.
with printers and measurements and what have you. And that's, for some young people, that level of education they haven't managed to get for whatever reason, and it's not because they're not bright enough. It's just the lack of opportunity. And for young people like that, there are lots of opportunities for companies that are prepared to invest a bit of time and a bit of effort really in that area.
No, I think I absolutely agree, and I think what organisations have to do is be patient and have a clear kind of plan and structure for these young people to be able to come in and retain them. I think one of my clients based up this way. What they do, they bring them in as, I guess, kind of graduate management people, and literally for the first 2 years they spend 6 months in each department, so that they have an appreciation for what each department does, and then at the end they choose which department that they go and work in. But I understand as a small business where things are frantic, not the time isn't normally something that people can afford. But I think if you're going to hire young people, which everybody needs to do because that next generation needs to come through, then we need patience and we need a clear plan, structure.
What can you do as a recruiter to help that along?
Bury my head in the sand. No. I think it's difficult, isn't it? Because I don't know how would someone pay me a fee for going finding someone without experience. They could go and do that themselves, right? They could stick an ad out on any of the job boards and probably filter down what they think it looks good.
That goes against what you say you do as a recruiter, where you do interview people, you do check on, their qualifications, and then you qualify them, and then you put them forward. So you could be doing things like that for people, which
I could.
Indeed is just we'll interview whoever comes through, but you've done that for them, so you're still offering that service.
Yeah, I guess so. But I guess with experienced people within the industry, it's easier to quantify what value they could bring, and a justification of the cost that goes with that service. So I don't know. I'm not talking myself out of it at all, but there's probably lots of ways that we can speed that process up and reinforce it. Be interesting to see if anybody that listens to this has any other ideas.
I think for you, if you look at it, so you have a group of apprentices learning the trade, learning this, but they also need to learn about the industry and how to go and get themselves a job and what's expected of them and how to present yourself and all those sorts of things. You'd probably be quite a good ambassador for doing that. Definitely giving you a job here.
Oh, thanks.
Probably a voluntary job, but there you go.
but then I guess how I just need to work out how I connect to that end of the industry then, or that end of the education sector and chain. I would love to do that, and there's nothing more rewarding than giving back to that next generation and the industry. So yeah, I would, if you know of anybody, then yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah, we'd do it.
How
about you, Andy? Do you have sort of a range of ages within your organisation?
I think we are 30. I think 30 to 72. So yeah, we've got quite a big range. We have had apprentices before on apprenticeships, and unfortunately, they just don't feel like they want to do print. I think they get sidetracked by friends who have gone back to college and they go, oh, I might do that, or I could be earning more in another particular job, but don't want to see it through. I think we've had about 3 or 4, and they've all left for a variety of reasons. But I think 2 of the reasons were mainly trying to get here. It's quite remote. The public transport isn't the best, and I think it was taking them between an hour and a half, and that's, when you're a kid, for not the best wages because it's an apprenticeship, 3 hours out your day, it's not the best. But we have had some really good people. This hasn't quite.
And what's your process when they come in on the apprenticeships? Is it on the shop floor and in the print room and get get experience that way, or?
Yeah, we've had dedicated schemes where they go off and do write-ups about what they've done and all those kind of things, and checking in with tutors. And we've had kind of junior level people who have just been on the shop floor. So we've had dedicated print apprenticeship, and ones where it's just a job but at junior level. But yeah, what we tend to do actually is, like I said earlier, Jack, is we get people in and we go through every single facet of the business. So they'll spend a bit of time with accounts, they'll do the supply side, they'll go with Mike on an install. So just in case they like something better than what they're doing and they've got an aptitude for that, then we will happily push them that way.
It's people on the bus in the right seats again, isn't it?
Yeah,
give them the choice.
It's something else I wanted to have a chat about. We talked about this. Is we all do very different roles within the industry. Talk a little bit about the misconceptions that people have about what we do. Now, I'm going to say, I think, Andy, I'm going to start with Andy because you're probably the most understandable of what you do. But do you still feel like maybe people don't really know exactly what it is you do?
Well, I've got two things. One is I'm David Brent, the beard and the weight. So I'm David Brent, the sales paper. And the other one is that if anyone has a problem with any type of printer, that's me. I can sort it for you. So whether it's an A4 desktop or a copier, that's what I do. When in reality, obviously, it's large format printers and signage. So they're the two misconceptions I have.
Do you have to walk around with a white short-sleeved shirt and a tie and a pen in the top pocket?
Only on Fridays.
Oh, okay. Next podcast, I want you to rock up like that, okay?
I want a little utility belt as well.
Yeah. How about you, Jack?
And a drawn-on goatee as well, please.
Well, I think when I just PR things, darling, as Adina used to say. No one can ever explain what PR is. It's not even worth attempting. Nobody from
I'll be honest, I still don't know.
No, well, we PR things. That's it. That's what we do.
Just write
but
stories.
In terms of your, because I'm in the print industry mainly now, but I used to do PR in IT. So everyone thinks I'm a computer expert. So same sort of thing. If one computer goes wrong, I have no idea. I'm literally useless at this thing. But yeah, as a not an editor, a PR anymore, more of a journalist editor, it's a little bit easier to understand. But PR is definitely a dark art. Not quite as much of a dark art as recruitment, I don't think. But I don't know. Let's
see a general misconception there, Jack.
Well, yeah,
taking people's money for not doing too much.
Yeah, absolutely. People trafficking, sell people legally. You know what? A lot of it is, you only send CVs. You're just a CV filterer. I'm not, I can tell you. Another one, I guess people think it's easy because, well, I've done it for a long time and I know quite a lot of people. So it can be perceived that it happens a little bit quicker than what they think it should do, maybe. But then one of the biggest bugbears of mine is, you work in recruitment. I've got a cousin whose auntie is looking for a job, and she works in Aldi or whatever. And
I did that to you.
Yeah, see. But yeah, it's can you help her? And I would love to, but it's not really my forte. So yeah, I just think people think that you can easily turn your hand to help everybody and anybody at any point.
What goes on behind the scenes prior to you just sending a CV, as it were?
Oh, everything. I think that's another podcast episode on its own.
You could sum it up in a few seconds, surely.
There's lots of moving plates and spinning plates, and it's like riding a unicycle whilst everything's on fire. It's the only product or thing that can turn around and say no at any one given time. So you tell me that you need a sales director because you don't want to do your job anymore. I will then go into my network, I'll go into my database, I can go into the back end of all the job boards and use a kind of search string and find people that relate specifically to that. You know this, Andy. You've got a recruitment expert in house.
Yeah, Marco told me. Was it a Boolean search?
Boolean search, that's the
There
one.
you go.
But then it's all the coordination of everything thereafter, helping people resign, not accept counter offers if it's not the right thing for them, prolonged notice periods, which we are going through at the minute. But
Not
just
mine.
like clear communication, there's lots and lots to it. So finding the CVs to send is probably the hardest thing. So yeah.
I think you must have infinite patience because you are dealing with, you've got candidates, you've got clients, and they're all moving parts. And you have no real control over what other people do or change their mind or move or whatever. So you kind of, I think you are a little different from other recruitment people I've seen. So what makes you kind of stand out?
I think since setting up my own business, I don't have targets to hit. Well, no, I've got financial targets to hit, obviously, but I don't have to send 20 shit CVs and hope that one of them sticks. Like, I would rather do less and targeted, and it means more. So I've got empathy. I understand that people change their minds, and it's just about having that understanding that it's okay to change your mind, and just building that trust more than anything. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what other
No
people
ghosting.
do.
No,
but-
just stay in contact. That's the thing. No ghosting.
I think any call just to say I've not heard anything back yet is good, right?
Good stuff. So we were coming into September. We've got the print show coming up, which is a big event for me. I don't think you guys are at this one, but it is a big event for the industry, and hopefully we'll kickstart a good quarter coming up. How do you feel about the coming quarter, the year end?
I think we've got some green shoots coming through. I think it's been a little bit quiet last 3 months, unfortunately. I think that's, I don't know, maybe the election, perhaps some uncertainty. I know finance is really hard to get for some people because the finance companies have tightened their belts. But actually, in the last couple of weeks, we've seen some good opportunities come through, and people wanting to invest their money, which is good. Typically, September, October, November are good months, and hopefully that stays the same this year as well.
What about you, Jack?
I can't remember the question. Can't answer my own questions.
How are you gearing up to the start of Q4?
Well, I have got the print show, so I'm going to be teaming up with the BSGA to on the sort of main site. Well, I'm not allowed to say it's the big news coming up at the show that will be announced. I can't say about yet.
We nearly got an industry secret then.
We'll beat
Nearly
that out.
got it. But yeah, no, so I should be there. I was going to have my own stand, but there's not much point if it's just me. So I'm teaming up with the BSGA, with Craig and Sam and the team, and we'll be sort of opening the sign surgery. So if people want to come along and ask questions, whatever it might be about their business, about technical stuff, regulations, pass all that to Craig if anyone wants to ask me about the football.
Is Craig going to dress up as a doctor again?
I found the photo, and that'll be going out in the press release. So it's a great picture. I love that picture. Good stuff. So we'll pass half an hour. We're going well here. So I think we save this till the end, won't we? Because not everybody will want to hear us talking about football, but we did say we'd do a little bit of a prediction run at the end of this. Now our teams are sitting 1, 2, 3 in the league at the moment. Just like to point that out. I don't think it'll stay that way. But,
no.
It's a good start. So what are your predictions for should we say the top 4 in the Premier League this year? Go on then, Matt.
Okay, I'm going Arsenal. Reverse psychology here. Arsenal first. City, Liverpool, and then I've gone a wild card. I've gone Spurs.
Oh,
I have gone Spurs. I think they'll get into top 4. And then, we're doing relegation as well?
Yeah, go on then.
Okay, and then I've got Everton, Leicester, and Southampton. In no particular order.
I think Everton I think they'll get better. They can't. Sometimes being this bad so early is good.
But
remember when Palace?
They've escaped relegation for like the last 3 years. Just.
Yeah.
I think this year's
But it's the last year at Goodison. They probably were pleased with it. But Palace lost their first 7 games a few years ago, and they still finished 11th. So I think Everton can pull themselves out of it. Anyway, what do you think, Andy?
I've gone for Arsenal to win, not to be relegated. Then I've gone for City, Liverpool, and my kind of wild card-ish is Chelsea. I just think they've got so many players. Something's got to happen. And it's got to
They've certainly got a depth in squad, haven't they?
Definitely.
If they pick up, they're off to Tony at the moment. If they get Tony, I think they could easily finish top 4.
Yeah.
How about going down?
I've got Ipswich, Southampton, and Everton.
Oh, you two sharing notes, apart from your wild cards.
Go on, Jack.
Okay. Well,
Brighton to win the league.
well, assuming nobody gets docked points, league positions, everything.
Why have you brought that up?
Because I have to, I stick with this. Assuming none of that happens, I think, I can't. I'd love Arsenal to win it, actually, but I can't see City not hanging on.
I'll remind you of that on Sunday.
I think Arsenal's defence is amazing. I think they are definitely going to run City very close, but I think they'll probably get nipped again. I don't think Liverpool will stick in there. I think they'll start going downhill soon. Just saying. Their squad's just not big enough. New manager, they're not really doing anything. I think you're right. I think Chelsea might sneak up into that 3rd place, and Brighton are going to get 4th. I'm going to put it out there. I think we're going to hang around there for long enough and just hang in there.
Do you have the depth of the squad at Brighton? Are you okay on that front?
Well, assuming we don't lose all our new signings after 6 minutes after last night, we should be right. We're making some amazing signings. We had loads of injuries last year, so as long as we can kind of keep the squad mostly fit, we should be all right. But it'll be fun anyway. Relegation,
can't even get a game, can he?
Who's that?
Evan Ferguson can't even get a game at the moment.
Well, no, he's been injured. He's back on the bench last night. Probably would have come on had we not had to make some subs earlier. But we'll see how it goes. I think going down, I think you're right. I think Southampton and Ipswich really are going to struggle. But I think Palace will go down just because it will make my year.
I think Ipswich will be all right, because they play, unless they're a bit like Burnley and they don't, like from last year, they play nice football and it's pressured. But if you haven't got a plan B, then you're going to come up a cropper against like some teams. But I think against the other teams in the bottom side of the league, I think they might sort them out. So
yeah, I hope you're right. I hope that happens. Good. Well, we've got a big game on Saturday, which is fun.
The Jam Derby.
Trip to the Emirates. Yeah, Jam Derby. And you were away at West Ham, I believe, Matt.
Yes.
Down in London.
5:30 Saturday night.
Good stuff.
I think we'll be all right there.
Yeah,
good.
I think we'll be okay.
And then it's an international break, so we can have a bit of a breather from it, which is always lovely.
It's not even been going yet.
Yeah, feels a bit too soon, doesn't it, this one?
I don't even know what's in the break. It'll be something fun, some friendly against someone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, well, I should say it's deadline day Friday. Probably when this comes out, actually. Any predictions of last signings or comings and goings?
I don't think we'll do anything.
No.
I think we're done.
Good
Have
stuff.
you got a striker?
We haven't got a striker.
I think you're an Ivan Toney or someone like a decent striker away from really pushing for that top spot.
Osimhen, I think he's called, from Napoli. That's hearing some rumblings on him, but whether we're going to spend 80-90 million on someone on deadline day, I'm not sure. I think we're a little bit more reserved than that these days, which is nice, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
Thank you.
Good.
Well, it's been lots of fun, everybody. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have a great September. Any last comments anyone wants to make?
No. I thought the beer was lovely. Thanks very much for sending it up.
Thank you, Lee. Well, they're not called Lee Lager, are they?
Leon C. Brewery.
Lee Brewery. That was a good shout. I like that. Nice way to end the day. Thanks so much, guys.
Cheers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have a lovely evening. See you soon.
See you later.